Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to another Facebook Live. My name is Rachel. I'm an environmental educator here at Sea Turtle Inc. Sea Turtle Inc. is a nonprofit organization and sea turtle hospital in South Padre Island, Texas. Today we're going to be doing a veggie feeding, so we're going to be feeding out veggies to all of our Atlantic green sea turtle patients. So Atlantic green sea turtles are the species of turtle that we most commonly get in our hospital, and that is because of our bay. So when you're crossing the bridge, if you've ever been to South Padre Island, that bay is shallow and full of seagrass. So this age group, the juveniles and the species, the Atlantic greens, love coming to this area to feed and to grow. So we're actually going to be feeding them cucumber as well as zucchini today. In the morning, they actually get seafood, so they'll get mackerel, squid, and shrimp, and then we sometimes give them lettuce bars. But today, they're gonna be getting this snack. It's just a part of their diet, not their primary source of their diet. Most of their diet is actually seafood. So I'm standing in front of one of our tanks right now. I'll actually be feeding 4 tanks today, so stay tuned for all 4. I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you some of our patients, and I'll walk around and feed all the tanks. So all of our patients right now are actually Atlantic green sea turtles. We released all of our Kemp's Ridley patients already. So all of these guys are Atlantic green sea turtles. I see some of you are already writing in where you're tuning in from. You guys know us so well. If you can actually type into the comments below where you're tuning in from, we love knowing where you guys are from. I see Caleb from Mission, Texas, Kelly and Ruby from Pennsylvania. I'm from Pennsylvania too, so it's cool to see someone else from Pennsylvania. I also see Manny from El Paso. Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. So let me feed some more of these and then I'll let you get a closer look. So here we have Surrectus, here we have El Tigre, and back there is Buddy. So you can see they're munching on the zucchini and the cucumber. So they really enjoy these veggies. As you can see, they also love lettuce. I'm going to toss some more over here. We have a current in the tank, so it takes the veggies around in a circle. So I'm going to put some more in the front of the tank. That way you guys can see. Let me dump the rest over here. Hopefully they'll move this way. So just dump the rest there. The amount is calculated based on their weight. So each turtle gets a calculated diet based on their body condition and weight. Buddy and El Tigre actually came in because they were stuck in the rocks at the jetties. Surrectus washed up, missing his back left flipper completely, and he only has part of his right front flipper. We're not actually completely sure what caused those flippers to be missing. It could be a variety of different reasons. It could have been an entanglement, so sometimes they'll have such heavy entanglements that their flippers will just start dying, the tissue will start dying, and it'll fall off. Someone asked why we give them veggies if they couldn't get that stuff in the wild. When we release them, they won't be able to get them. So the veggies are pretty similar in nutritional value to the seagrass and algae they eat out in the wild. These are still wild animals and they'll still have those instincts. So even we've released some and seen them immediately go down to the bottom and start munching on those seagrasses. They're never here for such a long time that those behaviors are modified. They're still wild animals, so they know what to do out in the wild. But that's why we also do enrichments with them, so we're stimulating natural behaviors from time to time. If you have any other questions, please let me know. This is Surrectus. You can see he has that partial front flipper. We have people tuning in from Las Vegas, Houston, Illinois, Robin from Europe. Robin, I recognize your name. You tune in a lot, so thank you so much. It's cool to see you popping up again and again. I see that Kylie just graduated from pre-K. Congratulations, Kylie. So this is El Tigre. You can see those spots on his back. That's where the keratin, which is like your fingernails, actually came off. And that is because when they're stuck in the rocks, they get really wedged in there, so they'll try to wiggle themselves out, or sometimes when we get them out, the keratin will kind of peel off. Jennifer asked, with partial flippers, does that mean he can't be released? It really depends on the patient. So some turtles can actually swim very well without 1 or 2 flippers. Some patients really struggle and they'll be kept as residents. We're trying to see how Sorrectus does. We're doing different tests, to make sure that he can actually dive and eat well. But so far he's doing pretty well, so we're hoping to release him. We'll just kind of have to monitor him. And here's Buddy. They're all very gorgeous turtles. If you didn't know, Atlantic green sea turtles get their name not because they're green, but because of what they eat. So out in the wild, they mostly eat seagrass and algae, so it turns their fat green. Someone asked if he has something wrong with the front and rear flipper. Yes, so Sorrectus is the one that is missing his back left flipper completely and part of his right front flipper. We're not really sure what caused it. He actually washed up like that. Ruby, who's 9, is asking how long it takes their shells to heal. It really depends. So that keratin will grow back pretty slowly, as you can imagine, kind of like your fingernails. It takes a long time. But some of these turtles will only be here for a couple months and they'll be released. Other times, like El Tigre, it's taking a pretty long time for his wounds to heal just because it was a pretty deep wound that he had. But some of them are here for a month or two and are released. Chuck is asking if he's shooting water from his nose. Yep, so when they actually go for food, they'll shoot water out of their nose. So it's kind of cool to watch. Maria is asking if there's no prosthesis yet. No, we only do that with residents because we can never monitor the prosthesis out in the wild. So since he's still a patient, we haven't designed a prosthesis or anything. Allison, who's one of our resident sea turtles, does have a prosthesis. All right, so let me walk over to some of the other tanks so you can see our other patients. So there were 3 in here. The next tank I'm going to has 2 patients. So in here, we have Monday Blues and Daybreak. There's Monday Blues, Daybreak is in the back. So I'm actually gonna toss in these veggies. There they go. Someone's asking how long do they usually stay in the facility before they're released? It really depends on the patient. So sometimes they're here for a month or 2, sometimes they're here for over a year. Sometimes if they have very minimal injuries, they're only here for a couple of weeks. We usually do a full dose of antibiotics, which is about 2 weeks, so like 14 days. And then if there's nothing else wrong with them, we can release them. We try to get them back out into the wild as soon as possible. This is Monday Blues. Someone asked, Christina's asking how long they live in captivity versus their natural habitat. So we have estimates for how long their lifespans are. Of course, if they're in captivity, they're not going to, be lost to predation or trash or other human-related incidents. So it's kind of difficult to say just because there aren't a ton of sea turtles out in captivity and they can die from a lot of different reasons out in the wild as well as in captivity. So I'm not quite sure on that. There might be some better data on there on that subject that someone might be able to provide. Someone asked what's wrong with these 2. So Monday Blues was stuck in the rocks at the jetties and Daybreak had some abrasions on his shell as well from being stuck in the rocks. Actually, I think Daybreak, I'm going to correct myself. I think he actually just washed up like that, but he had some abrasions. But we have his patient information online. He's been here for quite a while now, so he's doing a lot better, though. We're actually hoping to release Daybreak soon. Someone asked if they can eat fruits like watermelon. We never really offer them fruits just because fruits are a little bit unlike what they would eat out in the wild, at least with the other fruits, I should say. So the cucumber and the zucchini and bell pepper kind of have similar nutrient levels to what they'd eat out in the wild. I'm sure they would eat it because they're very curious creatures, so they would kind of eat anything. But sometimes those high sugar contents are not something that we want to be feeding these patients. Patty asked, when they grow bigger, will they travel away from the Gulf of Mexico? So yeah, it really depends on the species. So we don't see a lot of nesting green sea turtles on our coast. We maybe have 1 or 2 per year, if that. So these turtles, migrate around different places around the world. Their nesting beaches can vary as well. They just kind of come in this age group. So the juveniles, they still have, about another 10 to 15 years until they sexually mature. So during that process, they'd be moving to their nesting beaches. Sheila asked how much they eat a day. It's calculated based on their weight, so it's about 1 to 2% of their body weight in food every single day. So here's Monday Blues, and that's Daybreak. Let me walk over to the other tank now so you can see some of our other patients. So in this one, we actually only have one patient. And this is Paxi. He's actually one of our newest patients. Now, he has not eaten yet, so what we do with these patients is we offer them food every single day, no matter what, just in case, you know, they're in the mood to eat. Now, if Paxi does not eat for a long time, like let's say weeks, we will actually tube feed our patients, but usually it just takes them a couple of days to start eating. As you can imagine, they're a little bit disoriented when they come into the hospital, so it's very normal for them not to eat right away. But we put a little bit of cucumber and zucchini in there to see if Paxi will maybe eat it. We did feed him seafood this morning and he did not eat it. So we'll come back to Paxi and check on him and see if he's interested in eating. But for now, we'll walk over to this last tank, which we have two other patients over here. This is one of our larger tanks, as you can see. So we have Milo in here. So that's Milo. We did actually a post on Milo recently. And we have Luna there in the back. Julia's asking what kind of things they eat in the wild. So for Atlantic green sea turtles, they're primarily herbivorous, so they're eating algae and seagrass. That's actually why they get stuck in the rocks a lot on the island, because algae will grow on those surfaces, on the rocks, and so they're just there munching on that algae, and sometimes they'll get stuck. Other species will eat different things. So for example, leatherback sea turtles, they love jellyfish, so they eat a lot of jellies out in the wild. We get a little closer. Kemp's Ridleys, which are the sea turtles that nest on our beaches, they love crabs, so they'll actually chase down that prey and consume it. So it really depends on the species. Let me move over here to this side so you can get a better look. They're kind of floating this way. As you can see, there's a current, so it kind of drives them this way. Justin asked if there's such a thing as a black turtle. So Pacific black turtles, which are green sea turtles as well, but they call them Pacific black turtles if you've ever seen them. So some people will actually categorize them as a completely different species. Other people still categorize them as Colonia mitis, which are the green sea turtles. So some people say there are 7 species of sea turtles. Some say there are like 7 to 8, just because some people agree that they're a completely different species. Some say they're a subspecies, but we here at Sea Turtle Inc. just usually say there's 7 sea turtle species and categorize the green sea turtles as one species, as the Colonia mitis. Valerie asked if we are open. We are not currently open to the public, no. We are currently working on a plan for reopening. We kind of have to, you know, change the structure of how our visitors visit us here to try to keep them safe as well as us safe. So we're just kind of waiting on some more supplies to come, and as soon as we can open, we will. We want you guys to be able to visit our turtles. We just want to make sure that we're keeping our staff and volunteers safe as well as our visitors. So we'll make that announcement as soon as we know. We'll make it on here as well as our website. Julia said she did an art project on leatherback turtles and jellyfish with plastic pollution. That's awesome. Yeah, they easily mistake plastics for jellyfish, unfortunately. Kylie asked why they eat so much plastic. So something to keep in mind is that sea turtle brains are actually about the size of a grape. A grape. So you're talking about an animal that can weigh a couple 100 pounds, and their brains are the size of a grape. So unfortunately, they cannot really tell the difference between trash and their food that they should be eating, so they will mistake it and eat it. Michelle asked how many nests we have at this time. I believe we're up to 51 now. We actually had a huge day yesterday here on South Padre Island at Mini Arribada. We had 12 nests. So I believe we're up to 51, which is awesome. Mary asked how many of the species of turtles we have here in our Gulf are threatened or endangered. So we have 5 species of sea turtles that we find in the Gulf, and they're actually all endangered. Different levels, so the green sea turtles and the loggerheads have recently been kind of moved. They're not as threatened as the Kemp's Ridleys or the leatherbacks, but they're still, you know, collecting data, but they are still endangered, so they fall under the category of the Endangered Species Act. Ona says she's in 6th grade and she's done 10 sea turtle projects. That's awesome. We really love how enthusiastic you all are about sea turtles. Of course, we love them and we're happy to share them with you. Sea turtles are truly incredible creatures, so we thank you so, so much for your support and passion. Virginia wants to know what their names are. So this is Milo and over there is Luna. It looks like they've actually kind of finished up their food. We'll take one last look over here at this tank and see if Paxie's actually eaten. Looks like Paxie's still at the bottom of the tank, so we'll continue monitoring that patient every single day just to make sure that hopefully starts eating soon. And here we have these 3 that are looking around for some more snacks, but so you can see here's El Tigre, Serectus, and Buddy. If you have any other questions, please type them into the comments below. I'll be on here a little bit later to answer them. Thank you so, so much for your support. I'll end this video with some last images of our patients. Thank you again for your patience through all this and for continuously supporting us and watching these videos. We love doing them as we get to share our facility with you guys, the ones that can't visit us here in person. So thank you so, so much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.